And I hope this works and gives me some motivation and inspiration and momentum, because there are other projects in the world that I want to start. I just feel like I want to make other things, and these projects, whether it's time, space, baskets, needles, or hooks, like I feel like I can't move on until I finish them. So I thought, what if I applied, because it's like this mountain that I feel like I can't ever finish and accomplish. So I thought, what if I applied like the Dave Ramsey method of getting out of debt, only not with money, but with my projects. So basically with the snowball method, he wants you to find whatever you owe the least amount back on, tackle that first, throw everything at it. Then you move on to the next biggest debt and you throw all your, time, energy, money into that. And then it's kind of a snowball, because you're able to, instead of spreading across all your money to these different things, you're focusing on one thing. And then once you finish that one thing, you move to the next thing, and you can take your resources from that first thing because you're done paying it off, and you move it to, anyway, the first thing I have is actually what I'm going to kind of work through. And that is hanging up my granny squares for my Cozy Days Daisy blanket. I got them, I washed them in wool wash, I soaked them, I blacked them, and like they're gonna take 8 years to dry, I think. So they're like 90% of the way dry, honestly. And I'll hold some up for you. These are some of the finished squares. I mean, 90% of, like when these were wet, they were just like sopping and like they had no shape to them. So they're most of the way dry. So I'm actually gonna just cheat and call them mostly blocked. They're going on a blanket. I always tell my kids the last 10% is the hardest part, because it's gonna take the longest, and honestly you just want to be done. But like that's where I'm stuck on some of these projects, is the last 10%. Some of them it's like I'm a quarter of the way through, so those will be my like down the road projects. But this one I'm so close. I just have to like finish drying them and then seeing them. So I thought I'm gonna hang them on the clothesline. There's about like this much of sun, which isn't so bad, so I'm gonna try to keep it in the shade as much as I can here. I'm just gonna start hanging stuff, and I know I'm breaking like every yarn and wool rule in the world, and I kind of don't care. Like I said, they're so close to being dry, and I want them to be done. I want it to be a blanket so it's ready when it's, getting cold. I almost feel like I can kind of make sure it's in a square as I'm hanging it, which seems like that could work pretty well. Also, I had these blocking in my sunroom, and we need to use my sunroom and not lock it and tell everyone to use the other door. So there are 42 of these squares. This is the Cozy Days Daisy blanket by All About Ami. I love it, and I want to use it. Before we get too far into today's episode, I wanted to take a minute to tell you about something I've been knitting lately. It's from a company called Unraveled, and they make these beautiful everything you need in one kit knitting kits. Everything you need comes right in the box: the pattern, the needles, and the yarn, so you can just open it up and start. I've been working on their essential beanie kit in the evenings after the kids go to bed, and it's become my favorite little mindful moment instead of just scrolling on my phone. The Peruvian alpaca yarn that they include is so soft and springy. My kids love to touch the skeins of yarn. And the pattern is clear enough that a new knitter could follow along, but still interesting for those of us who've been knitting for a while. If you've been wanting an easy but gorgeous project, or if you're looking for a gift for a knitting friend, this kit is just a really great option. You can get 10% off your first kit with my code TheSailorFarmhouse at unraveled.store, or just by clicking the link in the show notes. Their kits do tend to sell out quickly, so if the essential beanie has caught your eyes, grab it while you can. Now, it is going to look pretty to have them all drying here, and I wish I could say the same thing about the backdrop. This is going to be backed up to my garage, and the weeds have taken over, and it's been like a garbage dump, so it's not going to look as cute as I would like, but that's okay. It's okay. Come here. What are you chasing? Is something chasing you? I don't know that it's any quieter out here between the trucks and the birds, but and I was looking at my WIP list, which it's been longer before, but it's 7 things. Not to mention all the things that I want to be making. So that's the thing, is that I feel like there are so many things on here I want to be making, or not on here. But because this list exists and I'm at various spots along them, I can't do the next fun things. And we're getting into fall and winter where I'm saying all these things and coming up with all these ideas of things to make, and I can't make them. So, okay, so the first thing that I feel like I'm 100% tackling is the Cozy Days Daisy blanket. I want that done before summer is over. Because even though I'll use it in the winter and fall, it just feels kind of summery and like springy summery because of the daisies. So I am, like I was saying, like 90% done with that. So my next things on my list are Lucy, my youngest daughter's Christmas stocking, which I've been in the same place for 2 years on. I finished the 2 older girls 2 years ago. And then I don't know. I knit, what was it, like an 8-row repeat on there. Completely messed up because I hadn't touched it in 2 years and apparently forgot how to like do color work. So had to tear that all out again. And now I'm sitting at like only 1/3 of the way done on that. We're talking knitting, lady. Violet. I'm not super close to that. So I'm kind of trying to figure out, because it's not money, like Dave Ramsey's whole thing is money. It's time, energy, and how close am I to being done, basically. So I'm only 1/3 of the way done with the stocking. But I have like a deadline that I want it done by. I want it done probably by October. Our October is going to be crazy. I'm teaching a class at our library. Suddenly a bunch of fall activities pick up in October. And then I want to be knitting James, my youngest stocking. And then that's my goal. I know I won't have me and my husband's yet, and I won't have our dogs yet, but my goal is to get the last 2 kids' stockings done, all 4 of them lined. That's a huge goal, and I probably should just stop there and not try to knit anything else, because that's already a big project. I realize that's a big project, but I'm only 1/3 of the way done with Lucy's, and then I have an entire one. But that gets top priority next, because of the time thing. So after that, I have Christmas socks that I'm knitting with just a Christmas colored yarn. I'm kind of making them slouchy. Those can wait. I mean, if I don't finish them this year, that would be okay. I bought the yarn last Christmas and I didn't make them in time last Christmas. So like, I'll survive if they're not done this year. Plus I'm only 1/4 of the way done of the whole pair. So like, I'm halfway done with 1 sock. So not very close, and there's no time constraint on that one. So I'm just actually going to cross off Christmas socks. I know it's there. I know it's on my needles. I'm going to cross it off. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just draw a little arrow. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I'm just crossing it off with an arrow that tells me, push it along. It's not a right now thing. I'm going to star my blanket, the granny squares, and I'm going to star the stocking. And because I know that it's part of my goal, I'm actually going to add Jimmy's stocking, even though it's not even cast on yet, because they kind of go together, I guess I'd say. I am knitting the Glacier scarf from Darling Jador, and I'm only 1/4 of the way done with that, but I also could see that being a really good winter project. It's like a pretty white, it's lacy. I think also I have to pay attention to the chart as I'm going through. Or I don't even know. I haven't picked it up in a year. Is it a chart? I don't think it's a chart. I think it's written out. That can kind of take place of my, my stocking knitting time, because stocking knitting, I'm 100% having to focus on, look at the chart. And so I do that when kids are not awake. So Glacier scarf, I'm going to also push ahead with my arrow and say, not now. Think about it in winter. I have a pair of fall socks that I cast on. And I'm still in the very beginning process, because I had designed it and tried it on and it didn't fit. So I had to redo numbers. So the pattern like draft is written, but as far as me actually knitting it and testing it, not there. I'm actually even going to just double line that, because it's a fall sock. I would like to ideally have it done next fall. So this is going to tell me like double arrow is going to tell me revisit this like next year. In terms of like Dave Ramsey, the things that I'm pushing off are, I'm considering to be like, if it was money and debt, like they're my big number things. Like, you know, it's $20,000 worth of something. I don't know, I'm picking a number. And don't even worry about it. All my energy and focus and knitting time into the smaller things or the things with the deadline that like have to be done. Okay, next I have car socks, which are just a basic sock. I think it was just a variation of the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla socks. And I just knit them when I'm in the car. There's no timeline. They're not, you know, specifically one season. They're like a blue-green pretty color. So this one's just going to get one arrow, but I'm also going to leave them in my car because the amount of times that I forget to bring a project somewhere, or John's driving and I'm not, and I didn't bring a pattern or a project to work on, is a lot. So I'm just going to leave it there and just kind of let it be like, time will tell when this one finishes. I don't know. So I feel good about this. I have not 7 more things. I have 7 things no longer. In doing this, I have taken pressure off of myself. Don't even worry about the scarf. Don't even worry about the socks or the other socks. I feel a lot better. Now I feel like instead of 7 projects, or then once I added the last 8 projects, I only have 3 projects. I have 3 knitting projects, and that seems way more doable for me and more enjoyable because I don't know. I felt like so overwhelmed that when I sat down to knit and was like, this is my knitting time, I would just grab something, and it would end up being something like the Christmas socks or something that just was easy, or the car socks. And it's like, but I'm wasting knitting time on these when I should be just like, forget those ones exist, pay attention to this one project. And so I'm going to do that. And these projects are going to happen at different times of the day. Like I said, 3, the stockings are going to be once kids are sleeping at the end of the day. I'm going to check on the granny squares. There they are, all 42 of them. Okay, so we were out by the chickens for, I don't know, 20 minutes. They're still a little damp, especially in the middle. And the sun has shifted, so ignore my garbage pile. We have from here to, I mean, it's dappled sunlight now, so it's not ideal. So I wanted to get them up as soon as possible. I think what I will end up doing is rotating them in about another 20 minutes and hold them from a different spot with the clothespin, if that makes sense. So that they can hopefully not stretch in a weird way, but also that corner that has the clothespin can dry better. Well, I feel better about my knitting, and all the projects that I thought were like weighing me down were weighing me down, but they're not anymore. And so I hope that that was at least helpful for you too, because I don't think I'm the only one who overcommits on knitting and crocheting projects, and it's helpful to kind of use somebody else's method or technique, in this case, thanks Dave Ramsey, to just kind of tackle it. So thank you for being here, and I hope that you have success sorting through your knitting and crocheting projects, and that you are ready to move on to fall and winter projects. Bye.